Those eyes right here, please.
What I say is I got to know Dr. Kevorkian. I got to understand his, the fact that he had this vision and that he was an extraordinary man who was really authentically interested in helping people, helping patients. He really was. And there's something about one thing that struck me more than anything, and that was the idea that, you know, he turned away 98% of people that came to him. And most of the people that he sort of said, well, come back, see how you feel in a month. Most of them didn't come back. And surprisingly, their relatives would write Jack and say they're feeling much better. They're not as anxious. They feel much more in control of their lives, just knowing that you were there. I think that is, when you think of it, to me, it's somewhat profound. That just the knowledge of him being someone who they could go to relieved their intense anxiety and difficulty in coping because of the lack of control of everything. So I think there's something about that. That's what I could address to you. I could talk to you about specific details, not so much about how I feel about it, because it's sort of a cycle. Many more people who I come in contact with sort of are ambivalent about it, but they are always lean, because you know, 70% of people, if I could say this, I think I'm accurate, we're for Dr. Kevorkian, by the way. And it's always the kind of thing you hear, but nobody comes out and says anything about it. But people sort of sympathize with it, but it's not vociferous. Now, as far as you said challenge to do it? Yeah, the acting challenge. Well, it was interesting because I thought I would just look at data on Jack Kevorkian. I didn't meet him. Barry Levinson did. And I deliberately didn't meet him. There's some, you know, it's a great opportunity to meet again, but we didn't have enough time. And I found that I could work with all there's a lot of data. There's hours, reams of film. And this guy, Jeffrey Feiger, his lawyer, spoke candidly, just on the camera somewhere, about a half hour straight about Jack, and I really learned a lot about it. I think what happened with Jack is when he was fighting for his cause and his beliefs, I think a lot of the relationship to the media was in sound bites. He was stigmatized as a Dr. Death kind of guy. He doesn't sort of his social whatever you want to call it, his social acumen. It just isn't. Sometimes it's not as conventional as we come to know it. However, you know, the longer you're with him, which I got to know him after the picture, and I'm so glad that I got to know him and see him and talk to him, and he's got that intelligence and the kind of person you like to ask anything, any question to, and you know they're going to come up with something different than you ever expected, and they do, and because the mind is his mind is so alive and so, it thinks in such a different way. It's unpredictable.